Alex Schemanske just won the 2023 European International Championships with Arceus Duraludon. Today we're going to take a look at his list, which is a variant designed to beat many meta threats, including Gardevoir EX. Arceus Duraludon operates on a very simple principle. Use Arceus V-STAR's Trinity Nova attack to power up Duraludon VMAX, then attack with G-Max pulverization until you win. This is a brilliant strategy considering Duraludon's bulky HP and its powerful ability Skyscraper, meaning it cannot be damaged by Pokemon that have special energy attached. This means that decks like Mew VMAX and Lugia V-STAR really struggle to take knockouts due to their limited energy pool, and it gives Duraludon VMAX the edge in these matchups. Arceus V-STAR is also quite a bulky Pokemon in this deck, thanks to Radiant Gardevoir and its Loving Veil ability. Loving Veil reduces the damage that your Pokemon take from other Pokemon V by 20. Add in Charon's Care, enabling you to pick up a damaged normal type Pokemon, and you can see that Arceus V-STAR is also going to be difficult for decks to knock out if they have low damage outputs. Finally, to deal with threats like Gardevoir EX, which Alex played in the final, Alex played a 1-1 line of Alolan Vulpix V-STAR. This Pokemon has the attack Snow Mirage for a water and double colorless energy, dealing 160 damage and preventing all damage done to Vulpix by Pokemon that have an ability. This means that almost all of Gardevoir EX's attackers, including Zacian V and Shining Arcana Gardevoir, are unable to deal damage, allowing Alex to easily win that matchup as long as Vulpix V-STAR isn't prized. This deck is a very strong ladder contender at the moment, so I would strongly encourage you all to try it out on Pokemon TCG Live if you can afford to. The list is on the screen right now, as well as down in the description, and it will set you back approximately 20,000 credits to build from scratch. Whilst you're copying the list from the description, if you could please like the video and subscribe to the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. And in order to boost engagement, whilst you're down there, let me know in a comment what your thoughts were about EUIC. Is Arceus Duraludon the new best deck in the format, or did decks like Lugia and Lost Box get a little unlucky? Time to see if we can't get ourselves a game with Arcdura, and it looks like we are up against the same matchup that we faced, that Alex faced in the final of EUIC. That is Arceus Duraludon up against Gardevoir. Now, it might just be a random Cresselia, that's possible, but I think it is happening, which means that we do want to get that Alolan Vulpix V out very, very quickly, because we do really want to evolve into the Alolan Vulpix V-STAR. Looks like our opponent is having a reasonably good start. They've got a Cresselia and a Radiant Greninja on the bench, and they'll go for the Battle VIP pass here to grab a couple of routes. In all likelihood, they'll get quite a few of them. They probably want to find 3 at the very least, and then give themselves the option to start drawing cards with Curly's Refinement, or indeed evolving into Gardevoir using Rare Candy. Looks like we're also going to see Zacian V coming down here, a very important card in this particular deck, required in the early game to start getting some attacks off. Pardon me. And it looks like their judge has given them a very good start here. Another Battle VIP pass gets the 3rd route. Now all they need is an attachment, and they're going to be able to discard an energy with Greninja as well. So very happy with that. Meanwhile, on our side of the field, we have an Ultra Ball in hand, a Colress's Experiment. We have Water Energy, which is good. We're going to be able to get an attack off this turn. The question is, are we going to be able to evolve into both the Arceus V-STAR and the Alolan Vulpix V-STAR? Now, getting that research off of the top deck is very handy. We're going to grab the Arceus V-STAR now, and then I think we're just going to use Professor's research. I'm going to discard this Water Energy. It's okay. We're going to draw into as many cards as we can. We find a double Turbo as well, which is brilliant. And now we can Nest Ball, and we don't actually have the V-STAR in the deck. So the Alolan Vulpix V-STAR is not currently here. It's prized. We're in the same spot that Alex was in when he was playing this matchup. Now, we need to decide, is our opponent likely going to be able to knock out this Arceus next turn? I think that they might be able to. So I'm going to use Starbirth now. I'm going to grab a Judge and I think a Choice Belt. Choice Belt seems like a good option here. It means that we can deal 210 damage with our Arceus V-STAR's Trinity Nova later in the game to any V Pokemon. And it also means that if we do happen to randomly unprize the Alolan Vulpix V STAR, we can attack with that for a knockout on a Zacian V that does have some damage on it already. We'll take a prize. Hopefully it's the V STAR, and it is! Okay, well, that's very, very handy. That is definitely a good sign. It means now we can evolve our Alolan Vulpix if it survives. Our opponent knows that if they cannot knock out the Alolan Vulpix, it's going to be very, very hard for them to take any knockouts. And this is the problem that Tord faced in the final that Alex exploited, is the fact that if the Alolan Vulpix V-STAR gets it up and attacking against Gardevoir in particular, there aren't that many ways for Gardevoir to stop it. Tord does have the one copy of the routes with the attack that lets you stop your opponent attacking with the same attack. The name I've forgotten completely. Hopefully they play it so we can see it. Or hopefully they don't play it so we don't have to worry about it. That's the preference. Looks like we're going to be seeing an Ultra Ball here. They'll probably grab another Refinement Curlier and start drawing cards. And this is why this Gardevoir deck is so very, very strong. It's got such a great engine. As long as you can set up in the early game, you're going to have a very, very strong mid game and potentially a winning end game. No boss though, so that's really good for us. It means that next turn, if we can find a double Turbo Energy, or if our opponent attacks into our Arceus and doesn't take a knockout, then we will have an attacking Alolan Vulpix next turn. And that's very, very good. Hopefully you are enjoying the brand new format, by the way, and hopefully you enjoyed EUIC. There's the Memory Skip routes. Memory Skip is the name of the attack. Now, I'm planning on covering a couple of other decks from EUIC, particularly Tord's, so likely the list that we're playing against today, and also the Miraidon list that made top 8. We're going to be talking about those in the context of upgrading your League Battle Pass decks. Not League Battle Pass, just regular Battle Pass decks. So the ones that you received for free on the Battle Pass on Pokemon TCG Live, I'm going to be talking about how you can cheaply upgrade them to get towards one of these lists with the credits that you get given at the start of the game. I know that not everyone has hundreds of thousands of credits, so we will give you all a relatively cheap and easy way to upgrade those two decks. Let me know in the comments as well which one of those you want to see first. I have both of them made already. They're ready and raring to go. You just need to tell me which one you want to see, and I will upload that one next. Hopefully you enjoy them, and then I've got a ton of other upgrade videos coming as well. So if you like those type of videos, then please subscribe. That would be great. Our opponent has the Gardevoir EX in play, and now they're going to be powering up the Zacian. And this is what I was talking about, grabbing the Choice Belt. If we can evolve the Alolan Vulpix V-STAR and use the Choice Belt, then we can potentially take a knockout on this Zacian V. Although I will say it looks like our opponent has decided to put the damage on for us. They're going to use Storm Slash here, and they don't take a knockout on the Arceus V-STAR, and that means we have an incredibly powerful play here. We can evolve into our Alolan Vulpix V-STAR. We can then use Schemanske to pick up the Arceus V-STAR and all of the cards attached to it, including the double Turbo Energy. So let's do that. Grab the Arceus back here. Pick up all those cards. We're going to promote the Vulpix. We can play down the double Turbo Energy, which is fantastic. They have 140 HP remaining. We're just going to quickly evolve this Arceus on the bench so as to not give our opponent easy prizes. And now we can Snow Mirage 140 damage into our opponent's Zacian V, taking the knockout and 2 prizes. But most importantly, we have stopped our opponent from being able to attack us next turn with any Pokemon on their side of the field, except for this Memory Skip routes. Now, Tord's list was designed to try and get through these kinds of attacks because it's playing this Memory Skip routes. And I would not be surprised if more people start playing this card in larger numbers, because it's very, very strong. And it's one of the only ways that Gardevoir can get around this Alolan Vulpix. Without that routes, there's only 1 or 2 other ways that you can do it, and it's not necessarily an easy thing to include. So definitely a very good card. Now, our opponent is going to use Memory Skip here. That is guaranteed. But little does our opponent know, we are holding the perfect answer. We have Escape Rope, Boss's Orders, and Lost City. The only thing that could make this better is if we also had a switch to save the energy for our Arceus V-STAR, but essentially, presuming that our hand stays the same, that no judge gets played, and I think they've already played Miriam this turn, so we shouldn't be too worried about it. Our opponent's going to attack with Memory Skip, then we're going to use Escape Rope to retreat to the bench. We're going to manually retreat with Arceus V-STAR, play Boss's Orders onto the routes, and then use Lost City to send that route to the Lost Zone. Assuming that this is towards list, which it's very likely to be, considering EUIC has just finished as I've recorded this, very likely to be towards list. Only running one Memory Skip routes means that we are going to be able to remove it from the game and effectively set up a win condition here. So our opponent goes for the Memory Skip. Now is our chance. We have everything that we need. Escape Rope first gets our Alolan Vulpix V-STAR out of the active. When you remove your Pokemon from the active, all effects on it are removed as well. So it is now able to attack again if we get it back into the active. We retreat with the Arceus V-STAR, we play down our Lost City, and now we use Boss's Orders. We're going to bring up that routes, and with Snow Mirage here, we will essentially have locked the game up. Now, the only way that Gardevoir can get around this is if they have some way to attack with a Pokemon that doesn't have an ability. And if it's towards list, as I suspect it is, then they are not going to be able to do that. And we should, considering they have 6 prizes left to take, be able to simply lock up the game from here. Now, what does our opponent choose to do? They send forward a Curlier. Do they have an attacker with which they can attack this Vulpix? Something that maybe other Gardevoir lists are going to need to start thinking about. An attacker that doesn't have an ability. Nothing for our opponent, a concession, and you can see why Alex Schemanske was so favoured. Very, very good deck. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time for more from the Sableyes. Bye.